Hi, this is Misha, and let's look at some round ships. Why not? I have a cat that's round. These are 3 Federation ships, 3 Starfleet ships that have round, not saucer sections instead of the typical saucer shape and more of a cylindrical engineering hull. First, we have the most famous, which is the Daedalus Class. Then we have a new one that was made for the TOS Remastered, which is a transport ship used by the Medusans, but it appears to be Federation, if not Starfleet exactly. And then similarly, we have the Olympic from All Good Things, which is an interesting design in and of itself, because it actually wasn't made by the team that did the visuals. The most famous of these, the Daedalus, really hasn't been seen on screen very much, although it's been in a lot of tech manuals and things and whatnot. This was the ship that really replaced the NX class. The NX was launched in 2151, while the Daedalus was launched after the Federation was founded in 2161. It was kind of a new attempt at a design. It's actually a very compact ship. It's only about, some sources say, as small as 120 meters. Some say as much as 180. Let's say 150. But it has a crew of 200 or more, so they're jammed in there. Yeah, the spherical hull would allow more space than a saucer, this is for sure. But, geesh. The navigational deflector's also on it. We've got kind of old-style engines. They have the spikes on the Bassard collectors, much like the first iteration of the Constitution. Got pretty much a barrel here. I always thought this was a cool retro design. Kinda has that rocket ship thing going on. It was capable of warp 6, according to Enterprise. Would have had phasers and photonic torpedoes. And in some ways this was actually cheaper and easier to make than the NX class because it was a more streamlined design. It was also built using some technology from other races, not just human. So probably some Andorian, Vulcan, and Tellarite. At least we know it probably had mud baths on board, right? And these were kept in service till the end of the 22nd century. By the time of the TOS era, these were no longer in service. Although we heard of this ship, the USS Horizon. We've also heard of the Essex from Next Generation. And a few others have popped up over the years. And I'm sure there was a USS Daedalus as well. So kind of the first Federation ship. This was a dedicated kind of deep space explorer. Didn't really have a lot of tactical benefits. I think that's one reason it was kind of phased out relatively rapidly. These would have gone into service and production right after the Romulan War. So I think it was people trying to get back to science and away from warfare. It's neat that they did a model of this. It's quite a nice model. Back in junior high, many years ago, in one of the English classes we had a year-long project assigned by the teacher to kind of write a series of short stories. And I chose the saga of the USS Dead Fly. And I actually used a picture of a Daedalus out of, I think, one of the tech manuals to kind of be the Dead Fly. It was a kind of a mockumentary Star Trek thing that was probably horribly written, but it's kind of what I think of when I think of the Daedalus. Well, after that, we went back to the saucer for the Constitution. But when they were doing TOS Remastered, they took the opportunity to do this class. We don't really know what class it is. Officially, it's the Medusan ship. But the people who created it admitted that it was probably a Federation, if not Starfleet design, and it was a transport. Again, it kind of harkens back to the Daedalus. Has a much more prominent deflector embedded in the, well, not saucer, the sphere. Kind of reminds me of Spaceballs. Anyone else feel that? It's got an interesting rear section. It's very spiky. I think this would have been a really good looking design if these nacelles were pushed back. I don't really like how they abut against the sphere. If they were back here and kind of swept back a bit, you know, moved them back an inch, I think it would have looked pretty good. But, you know, for kind of a throwaway ship and a reimagined thing, it at least kind of spreads out the human fleet, the Starfleet, a bit more. We don't really know much about it. And again, it wasn't in the original series from the 60s. It was added during the remaster. But it does show that some spherical ships are still in service. It's a thing. And then finally, we have the Olympic class. This is the USS Pasteur. From All Good Things, this was Dr. Crusher's command, for what it's worth. Or the second Captain Picard, if you will. This is a hospital rescue ship. Interestingly, this design wasn't actually made by the folks over at Star Trek. It was actually kind of created outsourced, and then one of the few, very, very few, brought in. But it's unique for all of that. It has a large shuttle bay, which makes perfect sense for a rescue craft. You can see it here. You can imagine it has medical shuttles. It was capable of quite high warp, but it had very limited shielding and very limited defenses. Probably had something, but not much. It wasn't a very big ship either, about 350, give or take, meters. We really don't know a crew or anything. Its job was basically to be a medical ship that was blown up by Klingons. But neat to see the lineage nonetheless. I don't think there's a direct connection between this and the Daedalus, because there's only so many shapes you can do. But it's nice to kind of get away from the saucer a bit. And it's nice that they did a model of it, because I don't know that anyone else ever has. If they have, it has not been very many people. And again, it's just kind of a different looking vessel. So yeah, just that I would show the sphere hull ships. Why not? I needed an excuse to put the Olympic and the Daedalus in a video. And this Medusan transport as well. Well, if you have any questions or comments, please do post them. If you liked the video, weren't too bored, check out some of my other little looks here, or comments, or whatever. Trying to see if you give you kind of a rear view, folks, if I can. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. This is Misha, and I will catch you next time.